was eens a tailor forbid at the bottom of Bennachie. He was a hard-working man with a fine wife and an awfu' bonny Dother. His wife was a fine baker and all. She made bonnets and scones and oat cakes for his fly. A day, when he sat down to eat, his wife told him that their daughter needed new Sheen. Well, the tailor didn't hae enough money to buy new Sheen, so he ged to his friend, the cooter, to speir if he could get some Sheen for his daughter and pay for him after. But when he arrived at the cooter's shop, his friend was looking gey worried. "What's the matter?" speered the tailor. "Oh me," says the cooter. "Thon Jock, a giant of Bennachie's flinging steens, and I'm feared they're going to land in my shop." "Oh, it's awfu'," said the tailor. "Maybe we can scare him awa with the air raid siren." "I dinna think so. Mind what happened when the monks started singing ower loud. Jock just flung mair steens." "Nah. Well," says the tailor, "maybe we can scare him awa with the tars. You ken fu the Dominie used to scare us with the belt." The cooter shook his head. "I think Jock's ower big to be scared with the belt. Nah, somebody's going to have to gang and speak to him and tell him to stop flinging steens. But it winna be me." Well, the tailor thought about this, and he said to his pal, he says, "If I get Jock to stop flinging steens, will you give me a pair of Sheen for my daughter?" "Nay, bother ava," said the cooter. He didn't think a tailor would gang onyway near a giant. Well, a tailor got hame, and he got into the milk house, for he got some butter that his wife had just made, and he covered it in some earth, so it looked a bitty like a steen, and he went up to Bennachie to hae a lookie for the giant. When he found Jock, the giant had just lifted a muckle boulder onto his shoulders, ready to fling it recht into the how of Alford. But the tailor shouted, "Stop!" Oh, Jock nearly dropped the steen on his taes. He got sick of surprise. He looked down at the wee mannie and he started to laugh. "You're nae going to stop me," he says. "I am," said the tailor. "I'm strong enough to take you on in a contest." And he held his hand up and showed the butter that looked like a steen sitting in his hand. Syne he squeezed, and it looked like the wee tailor had just squeezed water out of a steen. Well, Jock was mightily impressed by this, and he invited the tailor to come home to his house for something to eat. Jock started to light the fire, and he told the tailor to gang to the stream and get some water. But the tailor realised he'd never managed to lift Jock's great muckle bucket, so he said, "Ach, that bucket's ower sma for me. I'll just gang and take a hell burrin back." Well, Jock the giant didn't want somebody messing about with the burrin, so he says, "Nah, I'll get the water, you put the fire on." The tailor heaved a sigh of relief. Well, afore long a mate was ready, and the giant suggested an competition to see wha could eat the most. The winner would get a prize. Well, what happened was, Jock the giant was stuffing his face, but the tailor, he put a spoonful into his moo, but 2-3 spoonfuls into his pooch in his apron. And when the giant says, "Oh me, I'm stopped fou, I canna eat another thing," the tailor kept woofing it down. Well, Jock had to agree that the wee man was a winner, and he could hae ony prize he wanted. The tailor asked if Jock would stop flinging steens down onto the how of Alford, and the giant reluctantly agreed. And that's fou the tailor got a new pair of Sheen for his daughter.